Hey guys, this is Shannon with Nearly Organic Noshing, and today I am going to make tomato preserves. I have been talking about making this for so long, and I have just been so busy that it's just gotten pushed onto the back burner. I talked about it in my upcoming canning projects, and I will link that. I think Sutton's Days had started that one back in 2018, a list of upcoming canning projects, and I also spoke about it in my What I Will and Won't Can again, and I will link both of those so you can take a look at them, some of my favorites and some of my failures. But tomato preserve is one of my all-time favorites. I absolutely love this stuff. It is so good. I believe it is in something similar to it is in the Ball Canning book. The first time I ever heard about tomato preserves was in Little House books. I don't know if you remember that, if you read them, but Laura always talked about her mom making the spicy tomato preserve, and that is what this is. And when I say spicy, I don't mean hot spicy. I mean it has ginger and stuff in it, so it's got a real tang to it, a good bite to it. There's ginger and lemon and pickling spices. So I'm going to be making that today. One of the reasons why I have not done this, it's a 2-day process. So it's not hard, it just takes some time. So I will flip my camera around and I'll show you the list of ingredients. Okay guys, this is the list of ingredients. It is 1.5 teaspoons of the pickling spice, and that is what this is right here. This is actually from Pennsylvania, from Amish. My mom brought this back. My aunt sent it to me, and I have been working my way down the stack of it. Absolutely love it. Then you need a 1/4 inch across piece of ginger root, and I went and just dug this out of my plant today. So I have 2 pieces of ginger here because I'm going to do 2 batches. And I pulled some lemons. This is from a tree that I bought for my parents years ago at their property. And then I'm going to do 1 batch with real sugar, and then I'm going to try a batch with Swerve and see how that works, because I'm trying to low carb and I love this stuff. It is so good, and I would really like to eat it like on top of a sweet potato or something like that, and I just don't want the extra sugar. So I'm going to double batch it and try 1 regular sugar, 1 Swerve, and see how it turns out. And then I have my tomatoes here. I hit a good deal, and a guy that I buy tomatoes from, he has some that are damaged and some of them that have soft spots like this. So I'm going to start with my tomato preserves, and then I'll be going on to just canning tomatoes. Some of them have marks. When they're like this, people won't buy them. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a perfectly good tomato. It just has marks on it. But people are picky. They want things to be perfect. And I don't care. I'm taking the skin off of it anyway. So, and then I'll dehydrate the skins. But any of them that have bad spots like these, I'll cut these out. I'm not going to put that in. I'll cut it out. But then the skins will go in the dehydrator, and I'll have tomato powder. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have my water boiling on the stove right now. Yeah, it's almost 9:15 at night when I'm starting this, but I'm a night owl and I have the house to myself. Chris is working on our off-grid property out of town. Trevelyan's at college, and Jaden is gone for the night. He went to go to his girlfriend's house to go meet some family after he got off work. So he'll be staying out of town. So it's just me and the dogs. So I can work as late as I want. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and get started skinning my tomatoes. And to do that, I just drop them into boiling water for a few minutes. And then I'll fill my sink up with some ice water. And I'll drop them into my sink from the stovetop, peel the skins off, and put the skins in another container. And I'll have my boiled tomatoes. I'll show you how that works. It is super, super simple. But I'll get started on that, and then I'll show you everything else. Okay guys, I've started assembling this. I said that I was doubling it, but essentially I'm really tripling it, because I'm doing a double batch with sugar, and then I'm going to do a single batch with another sweetener. So I just use a coffee filter. This is one of those natural unbleached, which oh, I think I got a rip. I'm going to have to double back. Coffee filter. So if you have those tea bags or tea infusers, those work really well too. But all I did is I took my filter and I have my ginger here. This is going to be for the single batch. And then you add your spices in and wrap it up. You could use like muslin or something like that, or a little piece of cloth, whatever you have. I'm just using coffee filters. And I've already started chopping my lemons. Now you don't peel them, you leave your skin on the lemon because you're gonna have these little chewy bits in your preserve that are really good. So this is gonna be for my single batch, so I'm leaving 1 lemon here. So this is 2 lemons chopped up. And I have 2 separate pots on the stove. This is gonna be for my single batch. This is gonna be for my double batch. I much prefer using this kind of pot, but I don't have 2 like this. So, and I have my water boiling. I'm gonna go ahead and start peeling my tomatoes. Okay guys, if you can see the clock, a couple of hours have gone by since I started this. I ended up getting like 4 phone calls in a row, and my parents and Chris and Jaden and some texts, and so I had to pause, and now I am coming back to start again. I have my 2 pots here, and I have my lemons chopped up in them, and I have my little bags with my seasoning in them. That's it. That's all I've put in there. They're not turned on right now. So what I have here is my boiling water, which I'll go ahead and take the lid off. And this is how I'm going to peel my tomatoes. There's lots of videos out there. If I was not going to dehydrate the skins, I would skip this step because I don't think it's really necessary. But since I'm dehydrating the skins, I don't want the stem piece at the top. So I'm just cutting that out, and then I'm just going to take it and I'm going to drop it into the boiling water. And if there's any spots that are bad, like I said, most of the ones that I'm going to use on this are going to be some of the better tomatoes. The others I'll use for just my tomato sauce. But I'm probably going to do about, let me think, 15 tomatoes. That should be about 3 pounds of tomatoes. If you don't want to use a knife, or if you have kids helping you, a spoon, a grapefruit spoon, a citrus spoon works pretty good too. A knife is just faster, but if you have kids, that's a good option if you're worried about them using knives. But like I said, if I wasn't dehydrating skins, I would skip this step. You don't have to take this off for it to work and for you to be able to peel them. It just, I don't know, it probably wouldn't even hurt the tomato powder. There's just something about it that kind of bothers me, so I am taking them out. Alright, and once I put this last one in, I'll show you how we peel them. Now it only takes less than a minute or so of boiling them. It depends on how hot your water is before you see the skin start to split. But it just came to a boil a little while ago because I had to shut it off and bring it back up to a boil again. So I'll go ahead and move the camera over there and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I have some cold water in one side of my sink, and I didn't put ice in it or anything. I don't think it's necessary. It's pretty cold coming out of the ground. We have a well, and then it goes to a holding tank, and it's right above freezing outside right now. So I think the water's plenty cold enough. And if you can see that, the skins are just peeling off of this. So I'm going to take this and just toss it into my sink of cold water. And some of them start to peel and split quicker than others. So I just leave those a little bit longer that still need to get dunked around. And take out the ones that are starting to split. And then once I have them all in the cold water, I'll show you how we peel them. Okay, I have them down in my cold water right here. And if you can see, the skin is just peeling right off. So you can just do this, and then I have another bowl over here. I usually peel them over a bowl, so all the juice and stuff goes into the bowl. And then I put my peels into another container, so those will go in the dehydrator. So I just keep peeling, and I won't even be doing this whenever I do my canning portion. When I can the tomatoes, I'll run it through a food mill. I won't even be hand peeling them, and then I'll take all of those skins from the food mill, and those will go into my dehydrator. So, all right, I'll keep doing this until I have enough tomatoes to go ahead and start this portion of my canning. Okay guys, I cooked the sugar until it all dissolved and just kind of simmered it down on medium-high heat. And now I just put my tomatoes in. This is probably a little over a pound. I think about 4 would have probably been a pound, but I just went ahead and put a couple more in here because I didn't measure them out. And then this is my sugar substitute, and then the one in the back has regular sugar. And be careful when you're stirring so you don't punch a hole in your bag. You don't want to do that because then you'll be trying to scoop that stuff out. And it's a kind of a pain in the butt to do because you're going to leave your tomatoes whole like this in the liquid, and you're going to cook it for maybe 10 minutes, 15. It says 4 to 5, but I have not found that tomatoes start becoming translucent in 4 to 5 minutes like what the recipe said. So it's going to cook until the tomatoes, sorry about the steam, become translucent. I'm going to go ahead and put the cover back on them and just let them cook down. And then because it's so cold outside, I'm just going to take these and set them out on my back porch and let them cool overnight, and I will show you what that looks like. Hey guys, so it's been cooking for a little while. I had the heat turned off. But I'm going to be moving them outside in just a minute. And you can see, oh, the steam will go away there, that it is definitely lighter. And so I'm going to just keep the lids on these and move them outside. Okay guys, so I just have them sitting on top of my washer, on top of a towel. I don't want to crack the coating from it going to hot to cold too fast. It's still like 40 degrees out here, 42, something like that. So up here this close to the house, they're not going to freeze overnight. We're not going to hit 32 until like 3 a.m. and then it'll only be below freezing for a couple of hours. So I'm not worried about them freezing and cracking up here on the porch because it'll stay warm for quite a while. So I'm just going to leave it here for now and let it chill overnight, and tomorrow I'll do part 2. Okay guys, this is my sugar-free version. It's just been cooking on the stove for about 45 minutes, and I have my little immersion blender here, and I'm going to chop it up into smaller pieces and then put it in jars. Before I do that, I'm looking at the consistency of this. This is the one I did that was sugar-free, and I do not think it's going to gel up very well, so I am going to add some Sure-Jell into this, and I'll show you what I use. It's not Sure-Jell. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but I'm going to go grab that. I'm bringing this back up to a boil so I can mix that in. This is what I'm using in it, is clear gel. So you use a 1/4 cup for every quart of liquid, and looking at this, it's probably 2 pints, maybe. So I think I'm going to try 1/8 of a cup. Okay guys, this is what the back one looks like. There is the spice bag right there. Looking at all the liquid that's in it, I think I'm gonna add a little bit of clear gel to this also whenever I blend it up, just because I don't wanna run the risk of it not setting up and and I wanna be able to give some of this away. So I want it nice and thick and set up. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out and add, I think I'm gonna use a 1/4 cup of clear gel. Okay guys, I just pulled the tomato preserves from the canner. I ended up with 10 pints of the regular sugar tomato preserves, and then I have 3 of the sugar-free. So I'm keeping them separated until I can mark them, but not too bad. This is pretty much all of it except for a handful of fresh tomatoes that I kept to the side off of 2 cases. So not too bad at all. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here, and these things look good. I think that they're gonna set really well and make great Christmas gifts.